Today is all about potatoes. I had plowed this top field here last year. We're just kind of breaking up the big mounds. We planted the onions the other day. You can see that I had that question, the episode where I was asking about to till or no till. And I had Zeke and Carotenoid here. They were breaking this section up here. Later, I'll come out and we'll probably finish going this direction. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plant the potatoes in rows this way, facing the sunlight there the most and the southern sky here. And I have got me some potatoes. Some of these are, well, these are all pretty much seed potatoes. I got some of these from the store, and then this basket here, I got from the fall planting that I did last year. You can take a look at that video. I'll put a little card in here if you want to go watch that one. But I planted them. I was planning on harvesting them for food, but ended up just letting them go. And earlier this spring, I went and dug them up, and didn't have a lot of big ones, but we did have a few decent sized ones. And right now you can see they're starting to sprout. Aren't those beautiful? Planting potatoes. If you are new to this, and then, what doesn't look the same? I've got this random sweet potato here. Not doing a lot of sweet potatoes this year, just doing white and red potatoes. That's what I have here. Let me grab this one right here. This one seems to have quite a few. Now you see all the little different eyes that are on here. Some of them growing already little green-like plants on them, little sprouts. Those each can be a plant. And so I'm going to cut them up into segments. Now, you don't want to plant them right after you segment them or cut them into pieces here. The reason why is there's more potential for disease. So what I'm going to do is cut them now. The exposed cut parts will actually have a chance to develop the rest of the day in the afternoon. They'll dry up and they'll develop like a film, a skin, which is actually a little bit safer as far as not getting disease and rot in the ground. Just a pro tip, don't plant immediately after segmenting or dividing your eyes out on the potatoes. So here we go. The actual potato itself, it's a root, it's like a tuber. It has the energy that it needs to actually start the rooting process. So you want to leave enough of the potato to where it has that energy there. If you cut it too small, then it just won't do well. So I guess my question is, with these three eyes, this is a kind of a smaller chunk. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to kind of divide this in half. That leaves me with a couple eyes over here and one on here. So I think that should probably be sufficient enough. We're going to find out. Potatoes are pretty resilient as far as every part seems to, you want to get one with a note on it and a little eye on it, but it seems like I've even thrown in, like I've had some leftover potatoes in the past that didn't have an eye on it, and I just went and threw it in the ground, and it came up with something. There's a lot of little eyes just on the subsurface. It would be an interesting study to learn about what exactly is happening in the, in a tuber to actually generate that particular eye there. That's not an eye. Okay, there's one here, and there's one over here, so I'll split that one. All right, so you can see the moist part of the cut here. By the end of the day, it should dry and it'll have a nice skim. Potato planting time. As I was taking the little hand till there and breaking it up, it opened up more dirt down below. And I'm mounding it up here. And as I'm mounding this dirt up, it will provide dirt for me to pull in when the plants start coming up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm pretty deep here. I'm going to go through and put the potatoes in and then gently cover them leaving the mounds on both sides. And then as they start to come up, I will simply pull the dirt in over the plants. And what's neat about potatoes, you can actually cover the greenery that's coming up, and they'll keep reaching for the sky. Last couple of years I've done 12-inch centers, and they work out pretty good. This year I'm going to go with the construction stud model and go on 16-inch centers. They in the square foot gardening, you give each potato plant about a square foot. That's really what the rule of thumb is there. But I had so many potatoes, and I'm thinking if I just give them a little bit more space, they're just going to fill in. Time to just break it up so that the potatoes are in a nice loose bed of soil. The further down you get, the harder it is, so you kind of just breaking it up right now. Quick little break up in here. Potatoes are looking great, so now we're going to go mound them up. As you can see here, I've pulled the mounds into the trench on this particular row, and I'm going to continue to do that throughout the rest of these rows. Because the potatoes are in this trench and I've already pre-mounded the dirt, it's ready to just pull it in with a hoe. So let's get started. All right, the other side, and just kind of cut half of the, I'm going to cut just part of the hill on this side because I have to use the other half, for the other row. Just kind of pull a little bit down into here. And just kind of take your hands in here and just kind of pull it together here. Now we just have the tips, and because we've added a whole bunch more dirt here, the way the potatoes work is they'll start to shoot out more roots down below, and there will be more room, more space for the potato roots to actually grow. That's how we do it. Plants are all mounded up now, plenty more room for tubers to grow more potatoes. Just remember, when you start planting potatoes, plant in trenches with the dirt pre-mounded so that when it comes time to mound up the plants, the dirt's soft and ready to roll. So it didn't look like I had a whole lot of potatoes, but once you actually go through and you divide the eyes out, you actually get quite a few. And potatoes are an excellent source of food, especially, I remember reading when I was a kid, the Laura Ingalls books. And if some of you may have watched the movies as well on PBS. I'm sorry, not the movies, but the show. Little House on the Prairie. But I remember reading in the books that it was one really hard winter. That seemed to be a pattern in her stories, in her life, a lot of hard winters. One of the things that sustained their family over one winter was just having a stockpile of potatoes. I think they got sick and tired of eating them, but it is a good source of food to kind of sustain. What are potatoes actually good for? You know, I was saying a moment ago that they're a good source of food, and you know, one 5-ounce potato actually contains about 23% of your daily recommended value of potassium. White potatoes, yellow potatoes, red potatoes, they all have different types of things like carotenoids and anthocyanins. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Look those terms up if you want to. And you can see that each one of those have certain different health benefits. Potatoes, they grow very well. I actually have not had a problem with animals in my potatoes. I just grow them without any fencing. I think one time I did have a little bit of topping off of one potato, but for whatever reason, it seems like the deer don't seem to bother them as much, or the rabbits. They seem to leave them alone. So that's why I'm planting them in the top field there. Hopefully the onions and the potatoes won't be bothered by an unfenced area. So enjoy planting potatoes, enjoy eating potatoes, just do it in moderation. Anything that's good and done in excess is not good. You know, I've seen people eat too many carrots, drink too much carrot juice, and they turn orange. You know, there's actually a toxicity of eating too many carrots. So even though carrots are a wonderful root vegetable for you to eat, you can have too much. So the potato is easy to eat a lot of. Just incorporate it in your meals in moderation, and you will do fine. And there are so many wonderful ways to prepare potatoes. So Geek with a Tractor, until next time, keep tracking.